A lot of people get financial advice from outsiders. If maybe a financial planner, a stockbroker, a real estate broker, but they're not on the inside of the deal. And one of the reasons I like being an entrepreneur and being a real estate guy is I'm always trading from the inside. I know the deal. I'm part of the deal. I am the deal, But the average person who buys like stocks, bonds, mutual funds, ETFs, and saves money, they're outsiders. They have no idea what's going on between them and the real world of inside. So I remember raising my hand when I was 9 years old, talking to my fourth grade teacher, and I said, when am I going to learn about money? And she was this woman who should have retired 50 years earlier. She was so sick and tired of kids by this time. She says, "A love of money is the root of all evil." And I said, what am I, in Sunday school? And I was this punky little 9-year-old kid. And she says, "We don't teach money at school." I said, "Why not?" And she couldn't answer me. And she got very flustered. She said, "Sit down, take your seat." And then I got curious. I said, "Why don't we learn about money?" She says, "Go ask your father. He's my boss." My father was the head of education, PhD, all that stuff. I go home and ask him, I said, "Why don't we learn about money in school?" And he looked at me and says, "Because the government doesn't let us teach that subject. The government tells us what we can teach and what we can't teach." Are we going to school to learn about money? He says, "No, your job is to get a job." I said, "But you get a job to earn money." He goes, "No, you're supposed to just get a job." I went, No. "Isn't the purpose of a job to earn money?" He goes, "You're correct." I said, "So why don't I just learn about money? I can skip the job part, He says, "If you want to learn about money, why don't you ask your best friend's father about money?" And I said, "Why? That's Mike." So why ask him? He says, "Because Mike's father is an entrepreneur." And I said, what are you? He says, "I'm an employee. I'm a government employee." And I went, "Oh, what's the difference?" He says, "The difference is an entrepreneur must know about money, or they're no longer entrepreneurs." And he says an employee doesn't have to know anything about money, because the government will take care of them, the company will take care of them. So my rich dad started teaching me about money on one condition. And that condition was he would never pay me. He says, "The moment I pay you, you think like an employee." He says, "That's the trap. Entrepreneurs work for free." Learn about money. So he would just break out a Monopoly game board. So I would work for free. I'd pick up cigarette butts, and he had hotels and restaurants, and I would clean and do menial tasks. And as I got older, I started getting into office work and marketing and accounting, and I was an apprentice basically, but I always worked for free. And he would teach me about money, but the way he taught me about money was playing Monopoly. And finally one day I got upset. I said, "Well, when are you going to teach me about money?" He says, "What do you think we're doing?" "We're playing Monopoly." He goes, No. "What do you think we're doing?" "We're playing Monopoly." He says, "What do you think we're doing?" I said, "I don't know. I'm teaching you about money." And then that's when, you have one greenhouse. He says, there's many formulas for great success in money. There's thousands of them, but one of the best ones is found on the game of Monopoly. It still is today. 4 greenhouses, 1 red hotel. I said, "What?" He says, one of the greatest ways to acquire great wealth is playing Monopoly in real life. 4 greenhouses, 1 red hotel. "Well, is that all there is?" He goes, "That's it." And he says, "What do you think I'm doing?" And I went, "I don't know." So then he took me out and he showed me his greenhouses. And 10 years later, when I was 19, I was now in school in New York, and I come back to Hawaii, and Rich Dad had bought the biggest piece of land smack dab in the middle of Waikiki Beach. And when you go to Waikiki Beach today, you'll see the Hyatt Regency Hotel. That was his hotel.
Just like the game of Monopoly.
Just like the game of Monopoly.
Acquired assets, and they became bigger assets.
He just kept what's called an assemblage, because that property wasn't that big at that time. So he had to buy out all the small guys, because Waikiki was a little dirt water little town. So he'd buy out this shop owner and buy that shop owner. And it took him a while, but he finally assembled this large piece of property. And then he and Hyatt put up this giant hotel.
You know,
It just sold for $800 million. So that's how I learned about money.
and that's because he refused to accept a paycheck.
He says that the moment you accept a paycheck, your brain goes dead. You know, he just got paid. He says, as long as you're hungry, you'll think. Because the school system will never teach you about money. The school system was designed to teach you to be an employee, which is important, or a doctor or a lawyer, a specialist, but never about money. You know, Einstein said, you know, imagination is more important than knowledge, but knowledge empowers imagination. And what most people lack is real business knowledge, like accounting, you know, like debt, like taxes. You got to know that stuff, but they don't teach it in school to anybody. My success comes from spirituality, not finance. But when they say I can't afford it or I can't do that, they go down. They become what they say. And I made so many people, I can't afford it. You think I'm made of money?
Your mom used to say that. Your mom used to say that.
My dad.
Your dad.
My PhD dad, he says, what do you think I am, made of money? I can't afford that. And my rich dad would say, that's why he's poor. Poor people say, I can't afford it, I can't do that, I don't have time. Because it's an escape. It's an escape, you know what I mean? It's easy to say, I can't afford it. Oh, I'm too tired. Oh, I can't go to the gym. You know, when you could go to the gym, but no, I can't. Truth is, I'm just too lazy to go to the gym.
And you play it safe and you don't introduce new risks into your life. And so
I have job security.
Right. And your rich dad used to say what instead of I can't afford it?
How can I afford it? How can I do that? You know, what would it take? Or why should I do that? He says that a question opens the mind, a statement closes the mind. See, when you say I can't afford it, your mind shuts down and you become what you say. Or I'll never be rich. Or the favorite one is the rich are greedy. It's the poor that are greedy. You know, if you think about it, because to be rich, you have to give something. You know, I have to produce books and games, and I purchase real estate, I provide housing, provide jobs and all that. That's why I'm rich. But greedy people produce nothing. Just like most pro athletes, you know, they make millions of dollars, and what 65% are bankrupt 5 years later. It's because they come from poor families. Now you tell them that, they get very angry at you. Not, it's the rich fault, you know, you guys ripped me off. The government ripped me off. But unfortunately, what Mr. Lipton was saying, it's passed down genetically. What I say to young people is, you find your game. So my game financially is business, number one. Second is real estate. And that's why I pay no taxes. That's why Trump pays no taxes. Legally, there's a combination of business and real estate that gives us an unfair advantage over employees because they don't know what to do.